Those who wish to are welcome to do incense offering before the service begins. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Buddhist Temple of San Diego's Dharma family service, which will be chaired by the 9th through 12th grade class. The officiant is our certified minister's assistant, Bill Teague and Arturo Rubio. We will start with silent meditation by certified minister's assistant, Bill Teague, followed by Sutra chanting of Juseigei on page 34 of the blue service book.
For silent meditation, please put your hands together in Kansho. I'll ring the bell and enjoy the silence after that. As for me, Shinran, I have no follower. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Please join me in chanting Juseigei on page 35. Josegan Ishimujodo Shigan Fumanzo Seifu Joshogat Gao Muryoko Fuidai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogat Gashi Jobundo Yosho Chojippo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogat Ryoku Jinshonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tenin Shi Jinriki and Daiko Fusho Musaido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shu Gyakunan Kaiju Chi Egen Meshin Komo An Heisoku Sho Akudo Sudatsu Zen Shumon Koso Jomanzo Ito Ojippo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onpugen Ishukai Hozo Koseki Dokusho Ko Odai Shichi Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai But Gusoku Shutoku Hon Gan E Shinjo Man Tokui Sangha Yo Nyobutn Mugechi sho song shigan yakoka dai zen okan no koku sho teni o uchim yoke namandabu 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 gani shikudoku byodo seisai bon bodai shi ojo Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida.
Please stand. We will now recite our pledge, which is in the blue service book as an insert. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. You may be seated.
Today, the Dharma School message will be presented by Certified Assistant, Minister Assistant, Teague.
Hi everyone. I'm going to drop down just on the same level as you in a second. And later on I may impose on Dharma School students to help me demonstrate something. But I really appreciate everyone coming today. And it's always wonderful when we have the Dharma School classes take turns sharing the service. So give me 1 second, I'll be right down. And then for the benefit of our camera folks, eventually when the Dharma School is available, you can do the wide shot. So I do have a few questions. They may not sound Buddhist. Do you like your face? No one is really aggressively saying yes or no, but when I first did the research on this, I figured that more people wouldn't, because I always hear people being critical about the way they look, or, in dramas you always see somebody in front of a mirror worried about how they look. But actually, in a 2022 study of the Journal of Body Image, that was repeated later on and written about in Psychology Today, a majority of people do like their face. Now, a significant people don't, so if you like your face or you don't like your face, that's okay. That's normal. But we'll be talking about faces just a little bit today. So before I ask the Dharma School students to come forward and do a quick demonstration for us, I wanted to identify a few ways in which faces play a role in Buddhism. Some of you are familiar with Zen koans, and the most famous one is, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Gives you thought. Typically these koans are meant to be impossible to answer, and yet the student, the aspiring monk who hopes to achieve a level of understanding so that they will be certified in the Zen tradition, that's by Dharma transmission. So if I'm the Roshi or I'm the head and I like your answers and I think that you really understand the Dharma, then I will give you my personal seal of approval. It's called Inka. And in that way, I can go ahead and share the Dharma. Now, in Jodo Shinshu, we do it much differently. It's more of a seminary model. People go and study. In fact, we're sending good wishes now to two of our minister's assistants, Noriko Kawai and Sharon Sasaki, who are in Kyoto studying for their ordination. In Jodo Shinshu, we have two levels of ordination. The very first is Tokudo, and we wish them all the best. It's a very intensive 2-week period in Japan. In the old days, people had to go to Japan for years to study to get Tokudo. And now it's been more streamlined to allow more folks from outside Japan to take advantage of the training. And even the second level of ordination, which is Kyoshi, now takes place in, or has taken place anyway, in Berkeley, California. So people don't have to spend so much money to go to Japan. Instead, they send a few teachers from Kyoto for 10 or 12 aspirants. And that was very controversial at first, but the folks from Japan were so impressed with the sincerity and the fervor of these U.S. aspirants, folks who wanted to go ahead and further their study of the Dharma and also share the Dharma in a more complete way. So it looks very good that the next Yoshi ceremony, which will probably be taking sometime next year, will indeed be held in the United States, simply because of the quality of the aspirants, and certainly Noriko Kawai and Sharon Sasaki fit that bill. But getting back to Zen koans, my favorite Zen koan isn't quite as famous, but you probably heard it before. What was your face before you were born? So, anybody have a good answer? I'll suggest something along the way. Norman? I'm sorry? A molecule. That's actually pretty good. Scientifically correct, I'm sure. There is not one right answer. That's the thing with the Zen koan, because the Roshi, or the person who is asking this impossible question of the aspirant, makes sure that what the person reacts to is sincere and of the moment, true in the moment. Not you can't fake the test. You don't get a list of answers in most cases for the koans. There's a few, I guess, which are tricky that have to do with literary references where you do have a little bit of a hint sheet if you're an aspirant. But in most cases, it has to do with the sincerity of the heart. So I thought that was interesting. And in the demonstration that will follow, we'll talk just a teeny bit about what it means to have your original face. Sometimes the koan is phrased, what was your original face before you were born? Or sometimes even, what was your face before your parents were born? Even more difficult to conceptualize or process in a logical way. But the other example of face in Buddhism has to do with the fact that some of the folks here who are adults but grew up in the temple recall that it's very frequent recitation about the three treasures. I put my faith in Buddha, I put my faith in Dharma, I put my faith in Sangha. And what you find out is that the kids would be sneaky and have a little joke. They'd say, I put my face in Buddha. I'd put my face in Dharma. I'd put my face in Sangha. So now I would never suggest that any of the Dharma school students do that, but there's no reason why you can't have a little fun now and then. So just keep it in mind. But that also helps me identify the fact that there is a face component to Buddhism. And one last example I'm going to share is that we had a visiting minister here maybe 30 years ago, and I tried to look up the person's name and I misremembered it, so I can't confirm the sensei's name. But his interesting message to us was that our shrine, as beautiful as it is, you know, it's supposed to represent the Pure Land. That is a place beyond the troubles of this world. What enlightenment might look like to the enlightened person. He called it a mirror. And that if you stand in front of the shrine, you're actually seeing a mirror of your true self. So it's a very heavy interpretation. I don't suppose some of the Dharma school students have ever been at a swimming pool and just before they jumped in, to go ahead and just lean down and put your face in the water, or maybe just a basin of water, nice cool water, put your face in. Very cooling, very wonderful. So in the same way, I think it's okay to put your face in the Buddha. I think it's okay to put your face in the Dharma and put your face in the Sangha because it's a true connection. So the face is really interesting. Let me start with this. One more question. How many nerve endings are there in the human body? Did you ever count them up? How many? Any guesses? See, I looked all the answers up ahead of time. That's why I can look smart. But I was amazed. 100 billion. And that's throughout your body, not just on the exterior, but also inside. And that's one part of being alive. We're trying to, some of the nerve endings don't speak to us directly, or we're not in our conscious mind, but our atomic, I'm losing my vocabulary, I'm sorry, autonomous system is keeping track of those things. We don't have to think about them. And others do trouble us if there's some pain that we have. Now on the skin, they don't come up with an exact count that I could find, but as some of you know, the skin is actually an organ. It's the largest organ of the human body, and it has quite a few nerve endings. So right now, what they will say is that of those nerve endings, including the fascicle, the little network undergirding the skin, you know, it's not just the skin, but what directly under it has a lot of nerve endings. 19% of all the nerve endings in your body are there. So 19% of 100 billion. And your hands are the next things that are the most sensitive. So that's 17%. So 17% of 100 billion. And some of you may go to medical school or take a psychology class where they have you draw a figure of what a human being looks like based on how many nerve cells they have where. So in that case, the head is really big, like a big balloon. And the hands are huge because they're so sensitive compared to the rest of the body. Over a third of all of your nerve endings are associated with your face and your hands. So it's a big deal. So that's why we shouldn't make light of the fact about putting your face in Buddha. You're really being there if that's what you do. And I know that to get your face in somebody else's face sounds very confrontational, but this is the Buddha we're talking about. Okay? So if you come up to the shrine, bow, add incense. In some ways, you are putting your face in the Buddha, face in Dharma, face in Sangha. You're really there. You're alive. You're in the moment. So I do have an exercise that I hope will help just a little bit bring some of these thoughts home. So at this time, I'm going to ask all of the Dharma School students to please line up in a row in front. I ask you to do different things, but I promise this is not embarrassing, and you may learn something. So you can always say no, but I hope you come up. So I'm going to go ahead and suggest a way to join the many nerves in your hand with the nerves in your face in a way that reminds us of who we really are. I am going to go ahead and hold the microphone in one hand, so I won't be using both hands. But we're going to have 3 hand positions. So one hand position, both hands, you cover up both eyes, and the top of the palm fits very nicely against your eyelid. So you don't push, but it just rests there, okay? So just try one hand, okay? Okay, now try 2 hands. Yeah, I'm sorry for folks with glasses. I had to take mine off too. Okay, go ahead and relax. So that's the first one. The second one is you slide that hand down gently, and now your fingertips are just lightly touching your eyelid. So try that. And then the last one is you're going to cradle your face. You almost don't bring the hands down any lower, but you turn them sideways, so you've got your face cradled between your 2 hands. Okay? So, folks, in the Geijin, folks sitting in the pews are welcome to join us too, but I'm going to impose on the students then to go ahead and show all 3 of these. First, position 1, both hands. And just relax for a minute. I hope you find it very comforting. You've got over a third of your body involved in this exercise. You can now slowly move the hands down so that the fingertips are just lightly touching the eyelid. And finally, the third position, go ahead and cradle your face. The hand is turned slightly. Take a nice breath, and then relax. You can put your hands down. So for the youngest kids, I don't know about you guys, when I was growing up, I had a lot of bad dreams and nightmares, and I learned later on, usually that's because your body's not happy. It's usually not psychological even, but if your leg falls asleep, you end up getting a bad dream or a nightmare. And sometimes you can run to mommy and daddy, but other times, what if a grandparent is keeping an eye on things, or you have a babysitter or something like that? If you don't have your parent to go ahead and show you that affection, try the hand effort. Very comforting, calming, reminds you how you're loved, not just by your parents, but even by the generations that came before them. Now, I know that not everyone has biological parents. That's okay too. You can still be grateful for your biological parents, but the parents who raise you have a lot of responsibility for the expression on your face. If you're a happy person or a sad person, that's because of your parents too. But just think back, you had Dharma teachers before remind you of all of the people before you that had to exist so that you could be born. 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so on. All of those folks have good wishes for you. So it could be calming. So I apologize for that. It's okay. I think I made someone sad. I apologize. So I really appreciate this chance at a demonstration. Please give a round of applause to thank our Dharma School students. And please take a seat. Thank you. So for today, that's my answer to the Zen koan. What was your face before you were born? Because when you put your hands in front of your face, you've cut out the outside world for a little bit. You still feel comforted by the hands, and you have the experience of what your face is like from the inside out. So there's not as much ego. You're not looking in the mirror wishing that you look like this or that, or worse, admiring yourself because you think you're so beautiful. But what you can do is just realize that that's your face, your true face, the face that the Buddha sees. And I hope you take some comfort for that. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Teague, for the Dharma School message.
Please stand for the Gatha Namo Amida Butsu on page 122 of the Blue Service Book, and please sing along.
And sunlight fills the day.
may be seated. Are there any announcements? Well, I have one to start off. So the BWA is fundraising for the 2026 FBWA conference. Each of the bags are $3 each, 12 ounces, and you can purchase them in the dining hall. Punko is used for like frying stuff, or you can put it in other dishes.
Starting October 19th, downstairs there's going to be a canned food drive for UPAC. If you have any questions, just ask me or any other Dharma student. Thank you.
Good morning. So we started with Dharma School, starting to fold our 1,000 cranes. We only have 990 to go, just kidding. So they're gonna look like this. And so the next workshop is October 12th. And so after adult service and after Dharma School, come up to the conference room. And if you haven't folded your one perfect crane yet, we'll work with you. So October 12th and November 16th, after adult service and after Dharma School class. So get ready to fold. Oh, and this is the Jodo Shinshu flag, and these are the colors. And there's a little flyer in the back if you want.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for joining me in the collection box downstairs. Of course. Dharma School will be collecting stuffed animals to support kids that are at the Ronald McDonald House and UCSD Health Center. Dharma School will be collecting through middle of October, so please think about bringing a friend to join us. We're kind of lonely down there. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here. I don't know where Margot is. She's our brittle lady. But I'm here to talk about the brittle sale for our BWA. And the order forms are downstairs in the office. And the pickup will be at the Eitaikyo service in November. And there's brittle popcorn and almond brittle and sweet hots. So please help us out with the brittle sale. It's going to be available before Thanksgiving, so you can use them for gifts for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. Thank you very much.
We are going to have our annual Dharma School Halloween party October 25th at 5 p.m. So please start preparing your wonderful costumes now. Thank you.
The 9th through 12th grade class would like to thank the following individuals for conducting today's Dharma School portion of the service. CMA Bill Teague for officiating, CMA Arturo Rubio for assisting, CMA Yukari Williams and Arturo Rubio for setting up the onaji, and CMA Arturo for ringing the Kansho, Jayson Schmidt for providing accompaniment, Brevin Honda, Ken Muroka, and Ricky Cheeks for the technical support and live streaming our today's service. And to you, the Sangha, here and out there, for attending today's service. For those that staying for the adult portion of the service, Kaytee Sumida will continue with chairing for the adult service. At this time, the Dharma School students are invited to Oshoko and be excused to their respective classes. Also, if there are any new students that would like to participate in Dharma School today, please meet with Mr. Norman, who will guide you.
We will start the adult portion of the service with the Vandana and Sarana, which can be found on page 96, led by Bill Teague. And I believe he wants everybody to say it together from the beginning.
Thank you, Kaytee, very much so. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to chant this ancient Pali chant. We believe it dates back to the time of the historical Buddha. So please join me from the beginning. We'll go ahead and do the Vandana first, followed by the Sarana. The Vandana will be chanting in Pali and in English. And the Sarana, Pali, English, and Japanese, reflecting the makeup of our temple. So no bell to warn you, we're just going to jump in. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the enlightened one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Hands together in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Namo
Amida
Amida
Butsu.
Butsu.
Namo
Namanda.
Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much.
And now we will have a Dharma message from Bill Sensei.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to ask you to please put your hands together in Gassho, and I'll read an opening scripture. We who aspire for Amida's fulfilled land, though we differ in outward condition and conduct, should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether waking or sleeping. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So we have some visitors today. Thanks so much for joining us. And for us, a very important thing is that name. The Nembutsu means, you could translate it really simply as the Buddha's name or keeping Buddha in mind. And the recitation that we do, that we call Nembutsu, is what we just finished, Namo Amida Butsu. It could be translated variously, as I put my faith in, as we made jokes of in the Dharma school. or I take refuge in, or I become one with. A lot depends on the feeling in your heart when you recite it, but it's an important meditation for us, and it's one of the ways that we create peace and calm in our lives. So when people come to the temple, they sense a little bit the peace and calm that's here. There's been generations and generations in this building since 1930 coming to Buddhist services. Sometimes lots of people, sometimes not so many, but always the right number of people paying their respects to the Buddha. And that in itself is comforting. The quotation I read is from one of Shinran Shonin's Jodo-Wasan, number 59. And I wanted to go ahead, and I'll get back to that in a moment, because actually I came across that because of one of the letters of Renyo where he quotes that. And it's the letter of Renyo I'll be sharing in a moment. But I did want to start with just a few words about early Buddhism. You know, the common phrase that they use in BCA temples is "come as you are." And it's a friendly phrase. I hope that you find it welcoming. But there's really quite a bit of doctrine or Buddhist understanding behind it. So I wanted to get into that just a little bit. But first, one reason why it's easier to come as you are here is that we require very little. In early Buddhism, you had to take precepts even to be a lay follower. And you only had to take 5. They had very basic things like not taking another life, or not stealing, a little bit of the 10 Commandments sort of basic morality involved in that. But if you wanted to even get on the path to become a monk or a nun, there were 5 more precepts. And for a monk, if the aspirant monk, if the novitiate reached a certain level, then they would become a monk, and then now they had something like 227 precepts. So lots of rules. Some of you know that the Buddhist canon is divided into 3 sections. One section are all the sutras, the teachings of the Buddha. One section is the Abhidharma, the kind of comments of great sages on the teachings of the Buddha. And the third, though, is the Vinaya, which has all the rules and regulations for monasteries. So the fact that we're non-monastic, thanks to our founder, Shinran Shonin, is very helpful in that there are fewer hoops you have to jump through to really be a member. I mentioned the 200 and I believe it's 27 for monks, but I forgot to add that for nuns it's 231, even more than the men. And that's probably because the men wrote the rules. That's what I'm thinking. But regardless, that's very prescriptive. The theory is that the precepts are advice. It's not quite a commandment, but they are taken very seriously. So does anybody know if we have precepts in Jodo Shinshu? Does anybody know the one thing you have to recite to become a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist? I didn't for a long time, so don't be shy. Or don't be worried that you didn't know this. But we actually do it as part of our service, and that's the 3 treasures. So I put my faith in Buddha, I put my faith in Dharma, I put my faith in Sangha. That's all they require. They don't even talk about Amida Buddha directly. Amida Buddha for us is a Buddha beyond space and time, a universal Buddha. If you are of a very logical, rational mind, you may want to consider Amida Buddha as a symbol or a concept. Others will go ahead and have no difficulty at all in identifying Amida Buddha as something that's real. But either way, we're getting guidance from Amida Buddha in different ways. And I'll get into some of those ways in a minute. So, come as you are is useful because of the truth behind it. And first off is that you can come as you are. You don't have to go ahead and be someone else. You don't have to pledge to be someone else. You don't have to pledge to go ahead and change your behavior in any direction. And before I continue with some of those comments, I also wanted to ask another question. How many of you know the parable of the 6 blind men and the elephant? That's unfamiliar? Raise your hand. I won't pick on you otherwise, but yeah. So the folks who came to Buddhism 123 on Wednesday, I apologize because some of this content may be familiar to you. But I did look it up further because I couldn't even remember how many blind men there were. I could come up with 5, and it was the 6th item. And maybe I'll start with the items. But the setup of the story, this great parable that's active in Buddhism and Hinduism and Jainism across most of the Indic religions, the religions from India. So the Buddha stole a lot of his content, so that's okay. Some of his best stories came from Hinduism. But regardless, a parable of the 6 blind men is that in a village there were happened to be 6 blind men who often did things together. They supported each other. And it turned out that what was really unusual for that part of India is that somebody was coming by with an elephant. And the blind men had always heard about the elephant. They wondered what it really was. They didn't have a really firm idea of what the physical appearance of the elephant was. But they were given an opportunity to come and reach out and touch the elephant to get a better sense of it. And in the parable, they all identify the elephant as something different. One touches its trunk and identifies it as, oh, the elephant's like a serpent. One of them touches the tusk and says, oh, the elephant's like a sphere. One of them touches the side of the elephant and says, oh, the elephant's like a wall. One of them touches the leg of the elephant, oh, the elephant's like a tree. One of them touches the ear of the elephant. Oh, the elephant's like a fan. One of them touches the tail of the elephant and says, oh, well, the elephant's like a rope. And then they got into a big argument with each other because they each had direct knowledge of what the elephant was because they had reached out and touched it. You know, who are the other blind men to call them a liar? So they grew really heated. So the question I asked another audience was, what's the moral of the story? And if you raise your hand, let me know what you think of the moral story is, and I'll repeat it just for our live streaming audience. Anybody have a guess? There's no right or wrong answer here. Yes, I'm sorry. You're going to have to speak up. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Somebody else's view should not be discriminated against. And that's hard for us because we're blind. We're blind people. We have limited understanding of the world, even though we might be really smart, even though we might have lots of degrees. We can't know everything. We certainly can't know how everyone else perceives. So when I did this before, I think what I came up with was that they're all right, which is the same thing. You know? There's no reason for them to disagree because they each were sincerely discussing their experience. So what's nice about that is it reminds us that we can't accept other people's views. They may have a reason why they see what we would consider black as white, that it's that big a difference. But in their conviction, the other person's conviction, they have reasons. In the case of the 6 blind men, they have the reason that they actually did reach out and touch something, and they identified it the closest thing that they knew about, that fit the sensation that they had. Now, it's really hard to go through life, and you don't have to, how should I say this? It's really hard to go through life and always accept somebody else's view of things that you think is false. You don't necessarily have to change your own view, but the insight we got from our former resident minister, Reverend Kenji Akahoshi, was that Buddhism is an and religion. A is true, and B. To be a good Buddhist, you almost have to keep 2 separate thoughts in mind that don't gel. I mentioned Amida Buddha as something that truly exists, or as a concept or a symbol. Those are the identifications of a blind person in each case. We just don't know. Just as we don't know what really happens when people die. We think we have an idea, but we don't really know. So you can go ahead and keep your blood pressure down sometimes if you just accept that, the other person also has their view. I don't have to get upset about it. If I respect it and get them to respect my view, that's a good thing. Maybe you'll succeed and maybe you won't. But it's probably a way to keep your blood pressure down and not get so upset. Again, Buddhism is an and religion. A is true, B is true. A could be that Buddhism is based on the teachings of the Buddha. B could be that the Buddha was informed by, was brought forth by the efforts of Amida Buddha, this universal Buddha, to go ahead and help share the Amida Buddha's message. You don't have to reconcile the two, but you will probably benefit if you see good things that result from either of those 2 views. So in any event, that's another reason why Come As You Are is actually a pretty good explanation for our services and our welcome. Because if we are, what's the right word? If we're receptive enough, if we're sympathetic enough when we meet someone new, they may have their own ideas, and it's not our job to say, oh no, that's wrong. Here we believe X, Y, and Z. You can say that that's really interesting. We have our own spin on things, but you don't shut the other person down, because all of us are progressing. All of us are on the Buddha path. One of the other sayings in Buddhism is that the Buddha's path is right beneath your feet. That is, you're already on that path. You just have to recognize it. You're not lost in the wilderness. You may feel like you have no hope. You may feel maybe you've had a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, where things just don't go your way. But the Buddha path is right beneath your feet. So that's another reason why Come As You Are is not actually a very good symbol or metaphor for our particular sect of Buddhism. I mentioned Renyo Shonin, and just for background, I've already mentioned Shinran Shonin, the founder of this particular sect of Buddhism. In the medieval period in Japan, it was a period when many new sects of Buddhism came forward to meet the needs of the whole population, because before then, only rich folks and their number 2 sons could go ahead and study Buddhism, because you had to learn, basically you had to learn Chinese, and understand the sutras in that fashion. And it took a lot of study, it took a lot of effort, it took a lot of time. And if you had no money, if you were living hand to mouth, at the low end of the economic system, that was out of your range. That was not a possibility. But Shinran Shonin realized that by focusing on Amida Buddha, by keeping Amida Buddha in our mind, by reciting the name of Amida Buddha, that's something that everyone could do. So even in the early days before Shinran, but in the middle, I'm so sorry I didn't check this, it's around the 500 or 700 AD, but the first sage in our tradition, there are 7 sages that Shinran identified, called it the easy way. It is an easy way. You don't have to meditate for hours and purify your mind. So for that reason, it follows. And this will be clear now when I read a quotation from Renyo Shonin. We actually have 2 teachers in our tradition, or founders, that we honor in honorary altars on either side of the Amida image. So the one on the left is Renyo, the one on the right is Shinran. Shinran was the founder of this tradition, and his 8th lineal descendant, Renyo, is sometimes called the second founder because he took over at a time when the teachings were dispersed. There was some question about what the teachings were. The temples didn't necessarily get along with each other, and he managed in his lifetime to turn that around completely. The reason why there is a Jodo Shinshu tradition in Japan, where it is now the largest by population of the Buddhist sects in Japan, is because of Renyo. The reason that we have, and therefore the reason that we have Jodo Shinshu traditions here in the United States through the Buddhist Churches of America, our national organization, is in large part because of Renyo. Because otherwise the tradition would have dwindled continually and may have completely gone away. But when I was researching the idea of inclusion in Jodo Shinshu, I came across Renyo Shonin's very first letter. Some of you know that the Gobunsho is kept up, the collection of letters is kept up here on the Onaiji. And the very first letter has to do with renouncing the world. And this is what Renyo has to say about it. The basic teaching of Shinran Shonin in our tradition is not primarily that you should renounce the world and awaken the Bodhi mind, or leave home and abandon worldly desires, but simply that in setting the entrusting heart of other power through taking refuge in Amida in a single thought moment, there is no distinction between men and women, old and young. So most of the time we make judgments about people, snap judgments, we don't know who they really are inside, based on outward conditions, outward traditions. We who aspire for Amida's fulfilled land, though we differ in outward condition and conduct, should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether waking or sleeping. And that's the wasan, or the poem, from Shinran Shonin that Renyo Shonin quoted. Though we differ in outward condition and conduct, come as you are. We may have our own issues with racial identity, with gender identity, or even political identity. Come as you are. A truly welcoming environment would acknowledge those things, acknowledge me as the self, that I'm one of the blind men. I'm glad I got a chance to reach out and touch the elephant. Boy, my experience differed from all the other blind people in the room. But I know what I felt, and I bet they know what they felt too. So there is a tradition within Jodo Shinshu of coming as you are. If you think about it, when you grew up, you have been evolving, or at least changing. It's hard to keep the same thing in mind. And so what was important to you when you were 10 was probably very different when you were 20, or if you progress in age, when you're 30 or 40. Your perception changes because of life experiences and perhaps additional wisdom. When we recite Namo Amida Butsu, we're trying to go ahead and accept Amida Buddha to allow us to receive the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha. There are voluminous Buddhist teachings. The ones that have to do with Amida are not that many. There's over 1,000 sutras. There are 3 that are very important to us that talk about Amida. There are a few more that talk about Amida. But what is exciting to us, what we can appreciate, is that it is very accepting. You don't have to become a monk or a nun. Come as you are. The Buddha path is right beneath your feet. You don't have to be a different person than you are right now. Who you are now is okay. Come as you are. The Buddhist path is right beneath your feet. You don't even have to renounce your religion if you're a dedicated follower of a different school. Come as you are. The Buddha path is right beneath your feet. As a parenthesis, I'll just mention that the historical Buddha always encouraged folks to study other religions. And if somebody came to him and wanted to be a disciple, and they were just getting excited about religion, the Buddha thought it would be unfair to have them study with him without more background and context. So he would talk about other great teachers, other gurus in the area. Well, have you visited with so-and-so? Have you done this? And often he would send someone back to do that, and then later on, if the person was still interested, he would have another conversation. So in that case, we see that the Buddha was not worried about different orientations. He knew that our authentic spiritual selves are the result of reflection and spiritual growth, perhaps, and that it's a slow process, and we shouldn't be upset if things don't happen right away. Come as you are. The Buddha path is right beneath your feet. So I appreciate your kind attention, so that I could share a few things about Jodo Shinshu with you. And I already talked to several of our visitors. I encourage you to go downstairs. I'll stay afterwards to answer questions, but I really think the best answers come from other people here at the temple, because they'll be honest and sincere. I might be so excited about doctrine or other teachings, that I'll go ahead and start spouting those off. And that's only part of it. There are 3 treasures in Buddhism: the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. It's been said that in Jodo Shinshu, the Sangha is second to none of those. We learn from each other. And we don't learn from each other just in a book way. We learn from each other in terms of how someone presents themselves, how authentic they are, how kind they are. And that ends up being a great teacher, not just folks who dress in robes and have things to say. So again, I appreciate your kind attention. Please put your hands together in Gassho. We who aspire for Amida's fulfilled land, though we differ in outward condition and conduct, should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether waking or sleeping. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you very much.
Just a small comment. The one reason that the nuns had more precepts than the monks had to do with Shakyamuni's auntie, who was one of his followers, and actually got it that women could be followers. She used to sort of push the envelope, so they'd slap on another precept for the women, just like, you know, all the stickers on ladders now, because somebody did something. And Dr. Tsomo, who's a Tibetan nun, said she was naughty. So that's why. There's another 100 precepts for women. Okay, please rise for the Gatha, Ondokusan, which can be found on page 128. Please be seated. Okay. We will have music meditation now, and he can just play whatever he wants. Just practice good. Do good for others without thinking of making yourself known so that you may gain reward. Really bring benefits to others, gaining nothing for yourself. This is the primary requisite for breaking free of attachment to self. By Dogen Zenji. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu. You are welcome to offer incense if you haven't done so, and then join us downstairs in the, I guess it's our dining room, whatever it is, the meeting room downstairs. Thank you.